This is part 2 of the daughter quotes of the Bible. Acts 7:21, when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up and nourished him for her own. I was talking about Moses. How about John 12:15? Fear not, daughter of Zion. Behold, thy king cometh sitting on an ass's colt. How about Luke 13:16? Ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, who Satan hath bound, lo, 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day? Luke 12:53, the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Luke 8:49, while he was yet speaking, there cometh one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, thy daughter is dead, trouble not the master. Luke 2:36, and there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Aser. She was of great age. She lived with a husband 70 years from her virginity. Mark 7, a certain woman whose daughter had an unclean spirit heard him, fell at his feet. Mark 6:22, the daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced, pleased Herod, and then they sat with him. The king said unto the damsel, ask of me whatever thou wilt, and I'll give thee. Mark 5 is probably that same story from Luke 7. Let's read it. Mark 5, besought him greatly, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she may live. While he yet spake, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, the daughter is dead, why trouble him? Let's see. Let's do it. Now, that's the synoptic gospels are that way because it tells the same story by different people. So, Matthew was the tax collector. Mark, what was Mark? Luke was the doctor. We're going to read from whichever one we find first. Here's Mark. Mark 5 is called, the Gerasene demoniac. Demoniac. Gerasene. Gerasene. Demon, IAC. Demoniac. If you go to the playlist on this channel called House of David, I'm pretty sure that's what it says. There's a news report about this demoniac here. Anyway, they reached the country of the Gerasenes. Geradenes in some versions, this says the footnote. On the other side of the lake. And no sooner had he left the boat that a man with an unclean spirit came out of the tombs towards him. And the man lived in the tombs, and no one could secure him anymore, even with a chain, because he had often been secured with fetters and chains, and snapped the chains and broke the fetters, and no one had the strength to control him. All night and all day among the tombs and in the mountains he would howl, gnash himself with stones. Catching the sight of Jesus at a distance, he ran up and fell at his feet and shouted at the top of his voice, what do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? Swear by God you will not torture me. For Jesus had been saying to him, come out of the man, unclean spirit. What is your name? Jesus asked. My name is Legion, he answered, for there are many of us. And he begged him earnestly not to send them out of the district. Now there was On the mountainside a great herd of pigs, and the unclean spirits begged him, "Send us to the pigs, let us go unto them." So he gave them leave. With that, the unclean spirits came out and went in to the pigs, and the herd of about 2,000 pigs charged down the cliff into the lake, and they were drowned. The swineherds ran off and told their story in town and the country round about, and the people came to see what happened with all the dead pigs in the lake, and they came to Jesus and saw the demoniac just sitting there, clothed in his full senses, the very man who had the legion in him before, and they were afraid. And those who had witnessed it reported what happened to the demoniac and what became of the pigs, and then they began to implore Jesus to leave the neighborhood. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed begged to be allowed to stay with him, and Jesus wouldn't let him, but said, "Go home to your people, tell them all that the Lord in his mercy has done for you." So the man went off and proceeded to spread throughout Decapolis and all that Jesus had done for him, and everybody was amazed. And when Jesus had crossed again into the boat to the other side, a large crowd gathered round about him, and he stayed at the lakeside. And one of the synagogue officials came up, Jairus by name. Seeing him, fell at his feet and pleaded with him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter is desperately sick. Do come and lay your hands on her to make her better and save her life." And Jesus went with him, and a large crowd followed him, and they were pressing round about him. Now there was a woman who had suffered from a hemorrhage for 12 years. Long after a painful treatment with various doctors, she had spent all she had, and without getting any better for it. In fact, she was getting worse. And she heard about Jesus, and it came up behind him through the crowd and touched his cloak. "If I can touch even his clothes," she had told herself, "I'm going to be well again." And the source of her bleeding dried up instantly, and she felt in herself that she was cured of her complaint. Immediately aware that the power had gone out of him, Jesus turned around in the crowd. "Who touched my clothes?" His disciples said to him. "You see how the crowd is pressing round about you, and yet you say, 'Who touched me?'" But he continued to look round about to see who did it. And the woman came forward, frightened and trembling, because she knew what had happened to her. She fell at his feet and told him the whole truth. "My daughter," he said, "your faith has restored you to your health. Go in peace and be free from your complaint." And while he was still speaking, some people arrived from the house of the synagogue official and said, "Your daughter's dead. Why put the master to any further trouble?" But Jesus overheard this remark, and he said to the official, "Don't be afraid, have faith." And he allowed no one to go with him except Peter and James and John, the brother of James. So they came to the official's house, and Jesus noticed all the commotion. Some people were weeping, wailing unrestrainedly. He went in and said to them, "What's all this commotion and crying? The child is not dead, just asleep." But they laughed at him. So he turned them all out, and taking with him the child's father and mother and his own companions, he went into the place where the child lay. And taking the child by the hand, he said to her, "Tabitha, come," which means, "Little girl, I tell you to get up." The little girl got up at once and began to walk about. She was 12 years old. At this they were overcome with astonishment, and he ordered them strictly not to let anyone know about it, and told them to give her something to eat. So that was the whole story of that. We also have a couple more quotes that are not the synoptic gospels. How about Malachi 2:11? "Judah had dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and Jerusalem. For Judah hath profaned the holiness of the Lord, which he loved, and he hath married the daughter of a strange god." Zechariah 9:9, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just, and having salvation, lowly, and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass." Foal. Zechariah 2:10, "Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord." Zechariah 2:7, "Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon." Deliver thyself. Zephaniah 3:10, "From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring my offering." Micah 7:6, for the son dishonoreth is the father. The daughter rises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Micah 5:1, now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. Micah 4:13, arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thy horn iron, I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance to the Lord of the whole earth. Micah 4:10, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, and there thou shalt be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies. Micah 4:8, O thou tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion of the kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Matthew 10:37, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. He that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Matthew 10:35, for I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Maybe that's who did it. Okay, Matthew 15:22. Behold, a woman of Canaan came out to the same coasts, and said to him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. Matthew 15. That sounds like a good story. Let me read it really fast. It's called The Daughter of the Canaanite Woman Healed. Jesus left the place to withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon, and then came out a Canaanite woman from the district and started shouting, Sir, son of David, take pity on me. My daughter is tormented by a devil. But he answered her not a word. And the disciples went and pleaded with him. Give her what she wants, they said, because she's shouting after us. He said in reply, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But the woman had come up and was kneeling at his feet. Lord, she said, help me. He replied, it is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the house dogs. She retorted. Yes, sir, but even the house dogs can eat the scraps that fall from their master's table. And Jesus answered her, woman, you have great faith. Let your wish be granted. And from that moment her daughter was well again. Okay. We have Mark 6:22, when the daughter of Herodias came and danced, pleased Herod. That's the Synoptic Gospel. That's probably everything. Okay. Have a great Labor Day.